gentlemen, this is the Global Digest Think Tank Group. You are our guest today, and you are in Kyiv, or where are you? Please let us know.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for invitation. I am located in Kyiv. I have two jobs actually. My first job is editor of political programs at Ukrainian radio. It's a public broadcaster. We have some finance from state budget, but our editorial politics is independent. And my second job is RBC Ukraine. It's one of the leading Ukrainian websites. It's private, and there I work as international observer. I write articles, interviews, and other things in a written form.
Great. So I hope so. There is no rocket hit in Kyiv nowadays.
In Saudi Arabia, Ukrainian and Russian delegations mediating the US reached some kind of a ceasefire, but only in infrastructure and in energy objects. So the Russians really stopped to strike Ukrainian power plants, Ukrainian ports, but at the same time they are continuing to attack civil infrastructure. There were some strikes on just buildings where people just live, and there was some deaths about this.
So you said Russia is still, they strike the power plants and very important building infrastructure till today?
Last strikes on energy and port infrastructure till today was stopped because yesterday I wrote to you about that I was at a briefing with our president, and at these hours there was the finalization of this agreement, and this ceasefire is carrying on just a few hours. So this few hours we didn't see these strikes on infrastructure, but as I said, there are attacks on civil buildings and residential area of peaceful people.
I see. So Russia, I mean, yesterday, March 25, there was a agreement in Saudi Arabia between Ukraine and Russia. So that what your president mentioned yesterday, you went there.
Yeah, but so, it was indirect negotiations because Ukrainian and Russian delegations didn't meet together. They sat down in different rooms, and first American delegation came to Ukrainian representatives. They saw Ukrainian positions, Ukrainian proposals, and then they took it and brought to Russian delegation. And there were a few rounds of such vessel diplomacy, and then finally they reached some kind of agreement, but there was no one document. There was a statement from joint US and Ukraine, and separate document from Russia. So there is a question if Ukraine and Russia understands correctly this ceasefire and how it would be implemented for future.
So, what Ukrainian agree or what you don't agree about Russian proposal in agreement? Do you have any idea?
The main idea of this ceasefire is Russia doesn't attack Ukrainian port, maritime, and energy infrastructure, and Ukraine also doesn't attack Russian infrastructure, because for this more than 3 years, Ukraine developed very effective long-range drones that could attack Russian refinery plants that are producing Russian oil and other based on oil products, even in 1,000 kilometers far from our borders, and even more long-range distance, and it was a problem for Russia. And Ukrainian sea drones also attacked a lot of Russian ships, especially these ships that could launch the ballistic missiles on Ukraine. And for maybe 2 years or definitely this year, a Russian fleet just hid in very in a Russian military base Novorossiysk. It's eastern part of Black Sea. It's very far from Ukrainian territory, and we neutralized this Russian fleet. So it was that after this ceasefire, there are some fears that Russia can take back this fleet and can serve and can get some advantages at sea, and maybe could also manage to, I would say, to rebuild its some energy infrastructure also.
I see. So yesterday, March 25, mainly discussion for ceasefire is about both Russia and Ukraine should not attack each other on power plant infrastructure, mainly, right?
Yeah.
So both countries should not attack. And also, you said about
maybe I should explain why Ukraine attacked Russian infrastructure. First of all, it's a lot of Russia earns a lot of money exporting this fuel and oil from these plants, and they earning money for continuing war against Ukraine. It's one reason, and the second reason that these plants produced fuel for Russian army directly. Then this fuel goes to the front, and Russia uses to help its troops to attack Ukraine.
So Ukrainian.
It's just the military logic.
I see. So yesterday, Ukraine government agree about not to attack infrastructure in Russia power plant. Also, Russia agree for not to attack Ukrainian infrastructure.
Yes.
So both countries agree for that.
Yeah.
I see. Then today, nobody attacked about infrastructure. So both countries agree not to attack each other power plants and infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
And also, you have discussion about neutral in the Black Sea, right? So it
Yeah.
means Ukraine also should not attack Russian ship in Black Sea, and Russia also should not attack Ukrainian ship, something like that.
Ukrainian ships and Ukrainian ports, cities that are at the coast, for example, Odessa and Mykolaiv. Odessa is a city with more than 1 million people, and it was especially attacked by Russians. There was almost every day strikes on Odessa, so it was a very big problem.
So Russia agreed not to attack Ukrainian port and Ukrainian ship, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
Ukraine also agreed not to attack Russian ship in the Black Sea.
yeah,
I see. So then you have agreement, but it is just verbally discussion, or you have no formal document signature.
it's just the gentleman agreement with some kind of mediation of US. And in Ukraine, there is a perception that there is just temporal and just only the first step towards other agreements. Because I should remind that Ukraine initially proposed bigger agreement to stop truce about completely regarding not just strikes in infrastructure and maritime truce, but also about the truce on the ground and to stop with infantry, and because we have 1,200 kilometers of front with Russia. It's the main proposal from Ukraine, but Russia at this stage refused for this truce.
I see. So so far, Ukraine and Russia agreement is gentleman agreement in Saudi Arabia, right? And you said it is just for temporary, but Ukraine want bigger agreement and for long-term agreement, right? Something like that. So it is still temporary agreement, and temporary both sides did not attack the power plants, infrastructure, and sea port and ship in Black Sea from both sides. I don't know, in eastern part of Ukraine, like the Donetsk or those area is still fighting, shooting nowadays. Donbass or
Yeah, there are Russia has for these neighboring regions two options. They can use simple artillery that can be used just from the front to attack Ukrainian cities, and they have special drones called Shaheds. It's Iranian tool. Russia sometime bought these Iranian Shaheds. They call them Giran, and especially attacks with these drones Ukrainian neighboring cities. which are not the energy infrastructure, but just civil.
You can say they are still fighting in eastern part of Ukraine, like the Donbass or Donetsk or Luhansk, those areas. They are controlled by Russia, right?
It's complicated situation in some points of the front. Ukraine attacks Russia. In some other points, Russia attacks Ukraine. It's very complicated, but Russia managed to get some success at Kursk region. It's actually Russian. It's one of the Russian territories that was captured by Ukraine, and
Right.
it's the issue of Russian reputations, because one of the reasons, one of the leverages that Ukraine could use in peace talks, and this Platsdarm in Kursk region almost faded out.
I see. So till today, Russia control which area? Of course, they are not near the Kiev, right? They are only in eastern part of Ukraine, or it's how many part they still Russian control?
Russia controls territories of. Let's separate. There were regions occupied by Russia from 2014. It's Crimea and part of Donbass.
Right.
And some territories that were occupied after this full-scale invasion, after 2022. Talking about this second type of territories, Russia didn't manage to get even no big cities. For example, the centers of Ukrainian provinces are under control of Ukraine, and Russia mostly catched the small towns just without the large cities.
Let's see. So
But
you want to say Russia cannot capture big city in the central part of Ukraine, and they only able to capture maybe small and unimportant city or towns or villages, something like that. So
for Ukraine, every city and every town is important, but the main ones it's under control of Ukraine. But we used some cities, some towns to exhaust Russia. For example, maybe you heard about the city of Bakhmut, where Russia lost almost 100,000 of their troops, and this was one of the key moments of previous campaigns, and this was one of the tactics used by Ukrainian militaries to exhaust and to make Russians suffer more and more losses in this war. But today, even in Ukraine, a lot of people are tired of this war, and that one of the reasons why Ukraine got contact with US to take some peace talks.
So Ukrainian also control some Russian territory.
Yeah,
So,
Kursk.
yeah. But last time Russians said many Ukrainian soldiers were captured from there. So
And it was
how
not.
that was?
It was not true. There were hard fights in Kursk, but they didn't get some proofs of this Ukrainian captured people, captured soldiers.
I see. Oh, so it means you cannot say completely.
Part of information. They evacuated from this Platsdarm to main Ukrainian territory, but it wasn't the defeat of Ukraine. It was like a very organized comeback, I would say. Yes.
I see. Maybe the gentleman agreement in Saudi Arabia are not yet discussed detail all those occupied territory.
Question of occupied territories, as we understand in Ukraine, because even Ukrainian president doesn't didn't told some details. As we understand here, it would be a discussion of the next rounds of these negotiations. But the question of territories is one of the most complicated. So if this talks about ceasefire to some extent were successive, and they get some result about territories, it would be much harder to get some compromise, because it's very important for Ukrainian people, and we in this case are in role of victim. It's our territory, not Russian territory.
Right. So occupied territory issue is still complicated and still not yet discussed detail. So just gentleman agreement is basic important power plants should not be attacked, and port and ships should not be attacked. Those basic agreed by both sides, right? So
yeah,
maybe you may aware nowadays it's not just Russian. Russian recruit many other national. They recruit many other national, like maybe other Asia. Central Asian country people. They recruit for fighting against Ukrainian. So have you ever know information of those other countries? How's their involvement?
Our intelligence recently openly shared some reports, and they said that Russia still has some reserves to carry on this war till the end of this year. And they have enough troops, they have enough money for this war. From North Korea, they just take some military equipment, because for the artillery they almost ended up, and they didn't play the main role in this war. By the way, they were used not in Ukraine mostly, but in Kursk region in Russian territory. Yeah. About the Central Asia, as far as I know, there were no people from this region at the front. They are just in Russian cities as the workers. They just do some work replacing this Russian people that came to army. The main, maybe the most important ally of Russia at this time may be Iran, because of not just these drones, Shaheds, but they are trying to communicate about rocket program. Russia gives to Iran some its technologies, and Iran is trying to help with drones, and sometimes even maybe with avoiding sanctions, and they share the experience how to how to avoid sanctions, especially against Russian oil and gas. And this is a very big problem. And by the way, US and Russia discussing lifting of sanctions, and in Ukraine it perceives, we perceive it's as the long-term threat for Ukraine, because Russia can renew their forces and in some next years again attack Ukraine.
Okay. So you want to say, and they fight only inside Russian territory, but they did not cross to Ukraine territory for fighting together with Russian troops. They accompany with Russian troops.
There were some cases when North Koreans took part in the fightings at Ukrainian territory, but it was one or two cases, and it was not so long. They moved them to the Russian territory. And by the way, Russians tried to use North Korean ballistic missiles to attack Ukraine, but it wasn't very success, because they lack they are not precise. So they could launch missile, and this missile could land in a few kilometers from the target. It was ineffective.
I see. So Russian attempt to use North Korean missile, but they cannot reach inside Ukrainian territory. And Ukrainian can easily detect, and they can destroy North Korean missile or something like that.
No, ballistic missile is this kind of weapon that could be intercepted by only the Patriot system, because there are some technical difficulties and it's very expensive. So there were a lot of cases when Ukrainian troops just tried to how to explain, to predict where this missile would be attacked, and just if there is some danger for some important object, they try to intercept this missile. But when it attacks just feet or river or something like that, they just let them to take this.
See, By the way, Ukraine has sufficient or enough capacity to defend any missile attack, like North Korea missile. It's Ukraine has sufficient or capacity to defend it.
Anti-aircraft systems, it's one of the big problems for Ukraine, because Europeans can't replace this weapon for Ukraine, and in US, it's also Trump tried to stop this because even in US they don't have enough rockets for Patriot systems, and Ukraine is trying to somehow replace these rockets, but for example, we start to use Patriots for intercepting the Shaheds. We just use some simple weapon like even helicopters. We try to preserve Patriots for very important missiles, calibers, it's cruise missiles and something like that. But in perspective, it's one of the bigger problems, especially these anti-aircraft systems and rockets for these anti-aircraft systems.
Okay. So when is last time Russian missile attack Ukraine?
I think it was 2 days ago.
Okay. So 2 days ago, I see. Before ceasefire, 2 days ago, Russia missile attack Ukraine. It is near Kyiv. It is nearby Kyiv or central part of Ukraine, or which part of Ukraine the missile attack?
It wasn't in Kyiv. I think it was in Zaporizhia. It's one of the big cities near the border.
Central part?
Central Eastern, yeah.
I see. Because central part and western part is, it is far from Russia claim, and those Ukrainian in western Ukraine or central part, they are not pro-Russian. That's why there is no reason Russians should attack. That is the thing. So after Russia recruit North Korean and North Korea involved and accompanied with Russian army attacking Ukraine.
North Korean is very far from Ukraine, and
right.
In Ukraine we just thought about it's one more proof that our war became global, because North Koreans just came to help Russians, and there was a lot of disappointed people in Ukraine that South Korea didn't help Ukraine, and it was just a very big surprise. And but we understand that South Korea have their own interests, but I saw some news that in change of these North Korean troops to Russia, Russia helped North Koreans with these Shaheds, and it's potentially a big danger for South Korea, because you don't realize what is when at the same time thousands of drones attack your infrastructure, and if you don't have prepared anti-aircraft systems, it's impossible to protect your cities. And I think in South Korea should take this into account.
See, your government, Ukraine government, officially communicate with North Korean government or South Korean government?
In North Korean, Ukraine even had some years ago embassy, but it seems maybe in 2022 it was closed because North Korea openly supported Russia in this war. And from this time, we don't have any diplomatic relations. So I think it wasn't some kind of truce. There was some visits, as I remember, in South Korea, but there are no some visible results.